The gentle giant from the Android and Cell saga, Android 16 sacrifices himself so Gohan can unlock his full potential and achieve Super Saiyan 2. But once he was destroyed by Cell, nobody thought about asking Bulma to rebuild him. Well, until today. I'm Silver, and this is what if Android 16 was rebuilt. A few months after the Cell games, Android 18 goes to ask Bulma for a favor. To show a sign of good faith, she asks Bulma if it is possible to rebuild Android 16 and make him better than ever. Bulma says it is possible, but she will need some data from Dr. Jiro's lab and the memory chip so he remembers everything. 18 accepts the tasks and flies off to gather everything Bulma needs. 18's first stop is the destroyed Cell Games arena to see if she can find his memory card. She searches for hours and even asks Krillin to help her find it. Eventually, they see the chip, but it has been partially destroyed. 18 still grabs it and puts it in her pocket, then flies over to Dr. Jiro's lab, but Krillin tells her that he and Trunks destroyed it, so there might not be anything there. 18 begins to get upset, but she soon remembers the other places where Dr. Jiro could have more data on Android 16. 18 searches these other places and finds as much data on Android 16 as she can to give to Bulma. 18 returns to Capsule Corp and gives Bulma everything that she has. Bulma says this is more than enough to bring him back. 18 gets excited, but Bulma tells her that this will take a long time, years even. 18 says I can wait. So Bulma begins on the project, and of course there is a 7-year time skip between the end of the Cell saga and the Buu saga. During the time skip, Bulma would work on the rebuild non-stop, and 18 would periodically go to Capsule Corp to check on the progress. After 7 long years and the next World Tournament on the rise, Bulma has put the finishing touches on Android 16. Bulma calls 18 and tells her that she has finished. 18 rushes over to be there when she wakes 16 up. Bulma presses the button to open his pod and he steps out. 18 asks him, "Do you remember anything?" 16 replies, "Of course I do. I am Android 16. You are Android 18 and that is Bulma, the one who removed my bomb." 18 begins to cry at the sight of him and gives Bulma a big hug. To console her, Bulma starts explaining what she added to him to make him better. She explains that she updated his memory chip with everything else that happened after he was destroyed. Give him the ability to absorb energy to gain a power boost for a limited time. A built-in dragon radar, a built-in energy reader, and upgradable components so he can be repaired easily if needed. The only thing Bulma wasn't able to get back is his love for nature, so he is going to have to relearn that. But other than that, he is back and better than ever. After he emerges from his pod, Bulma keeps a close eye on him for the time being, and even tells the rest of the crew. As for the Buu saga, nothing of note changes until after Vegeta's sacrifice. Our heroes are all on the lookout to come up with a plan. Goku says that we need to collect the Dragon Balls. He sends Trunks to go collect them, but since Buu can sense energy, we need someone to distract Buu for the time being. Goku is about to fly off, but Bulma says Android 16 will be perfect to distract Buu. Goku asks if he is strong enough, and Bulma says if he needs to, he can absorb some of Buu's energy to give him a temporary power boost. Goku says that works and tells Bulma to call him here. After a little bit, 16 arrives on the lookout, and Bulma tells him that they need him to distract Buu while Trunks is searching for the Dragon Balls. 16 says affirmative and rushes towards Buu and Babidi. Without a word, 16 begins to fight Buu. Babidi steps back to stay out of the way of the fight. The fight is seemingly even until Buu begins to get the upper hand. Buu grapples 16 and tries to absorb him, but instead, 16 absorbs some of Buu's energy, making him even stronger. Their fight goes on for a little while longer until Bulma calls 16 to tell him to come back to the lookout because Trunks has collected the Dragon Balls. 16 backs off and flies back. Buu tries to follow him, but he is too fast and he has no detectable energy, so he loses him quickly. Once he returns to the lookout, everything stays the same except that Goku has extra time since he hasn't used Super Saiyan 3 yet. At this point, nothing changes until Goten and Trunks are put into the time chamber. Piccolo and 16 get Super Buu to follow them inside to fight Gotenks. The fight goes the same way, ending with all of them leaving the chamber. Once out, Super Buu and Gotenks continue their fight until they defuse. 16 tells them to get behind him while he holds Buu off. 16 isn't strong enough to fight Buu, but he still tries anyway. Buu is about to kill all of them, but someone's energy is quickly approaching. Ultimate Gohan versus Super Buu has begun, and Gohan is still cocky, but 16 tells him to knock it off and finish Buu for good. Gohan is about to end him, but Buu launches a piece of him towards Gohan. Gohan dodges it, but what he doesn't realize is that he isn't aiming for him. He was aiming for Gotenks. The goo absorbs Gotenks and starts to fly towards Buu. Gohan, Piccolo, and 16 try to stop it, but it is too late. Buu-Tanks is born. Buu starts manhandling our heroes and ends up absorbing Piccolo too. Gohan and 16 are on the back foot until Goku arrives to assist them. The three of them try their best, but it still doesn't make a difference. All hope seems lost until two more people arrive on the battlefield. It's the Supreme Kai and a dead Vegeta. Supreme Kai tosses Goku the Potara earrings so he and Gohan can fuse, but in the midst of all of the talk, Buu absorbs Gohan as well. They are left with no choice. Goku and Vegeta will fuse while 16 tries to hold Buuhan off. After this, nothing else changes. Goku still uses the Spirit Bomb and wishes for Buu to be reincarnated. Vegeta gets revived and Fat Buu becomes good. Now there is a 4-year time skip to Super, and for the time being, 16 isn't much help. He isn't strong enough to beat Beerus, there is nothing he can do to help with Frieza, and there is nothing he can do to help with Goku Black. That just leaves the Tournament of Power. Now there are two ways we can take this story. We can either not allow him to participate in the tournament, or since he is capable of making his own decisions, he is allowed to participate. Let's go with the second option. Goku tells 16 about the tournament, and of course, to protect his universe, he joins the team. He would replace Master Roshi on the team. So the tournament begins, and 16 doesn't go out of his way to fight anyone, but if someone does challenge him, he will fight back. He mostly stays as a support character to assist the others if needed. For example, he saves Krillin and Tien from being eliminated by grabbing them with his rocket fists. But eventually, they both get eliminated. He helps with the beam struggle against Agnalasa, helps 17 and 18 with the fighters from Universe 2, and even helps Frieza with Dispo. But when it comes to fighting Jiren and Toph, there isn't much he can do. He ends up getting eliminated and the tournament ends the same with 17 winning it. After the tournament, 16 decides to join 17 on his island to protect the animals from poachers. He does make an appearance in the fight against Moro, but other than that, he doesn't appear as much. And I feel like this doesn't need a part 2, so I will just leave it here. 16 is a very likable character that could have had his story continued, but since he is just a robot, there isn't much for him to do. The original story still gives his character one of the best endings ever though. This story is the first of many shorter What If episodes that I will be making. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and with that I will catch you guys next time.